What's up, guys? It's
TM
and Beth.
Welcome back to Talkin Boosh, our video series that emulates a podcast format.
For this episode, we'll be talking bullshit about paranormal experiences. That was so good.
I feel like we had it so in sync the first time, and ever since then it just has not worked. Well, maybe it worked. I'll never know till I go to post.
But I'm sure you guys love it anyways, because you love us. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. You better. Please, guys, we need the love.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm so tired right now. I had, the most busy day ever. You guys will see in about 2 weeks from now. But I was navigating the bus system for the first time, and by God, is it atrocious.
Atrocious, yes. Phew.
How about you? How's your week going?
Well, it's been okay. Well, today wasn't too bad, but the past couple days have been hectic, that's for sure. It snowed as you know, because it's
so unfortunately. Yes, I am aware.
Yeah. And since it's the beginning of November, I haven't had the chance to get like my snow tires on. And it was like late at night. I was working in the library, or I was like working or doing something. I wasn't like, I wasn't home. That's the whole point. And I live half away from my house, and snow started falling. I was like, all right. And like half an hour later, there's like a good 5 centimeters on the ground. I was like, all right, I gotta drive in this. And it was bad. Let's just say that. It was slipping and sliding left and right. It was crazy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it home safe. Yeah, I was supposed to have a car in university with me, but then we couldn't afford insurance. So that didn't end up happening. And honestly, it's times like these I'm kind of glad it didn't end up happening, because I would be so afraid to drive in the snow.
Yeah, it's
so
bad.
Scared.
It's so bad. It was life-changing.
Like the black ice and everything. God.
Oof.
If you're not from Canada or not a place where there's snow, it's literally, I just said to my roommate earlier today, I was like, yeah, winter really is just survival of the fittest.
Yeah, honestly. No, yeah, it's bad. Black ice is my worst fear. I haven't encountered it yet, but I'm sure I will eventually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't panic, though.
Quite awful.
Yeah.
I've never been the one driving, but I've been on black ice when my mom was driving. She handled it like a champ, though.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Hands on the wheel, guys. Hands on the wheel. Both of them.
I'm sorry if you hear me yawn. I'm legit so tired. Every part of my body is tired because I did so much walking today. It was like 13 minutes to this bus stop, 15 minutes to this place we have to go because the bus doesn't take us there. Oh, we have groceries in our hand and we have to walk 13 minutes to the bus stop. Oh, everything hurts.
Yeah.
I don't want to be an adult.
You'll sleep like a little tiny baby tonight.
I will.
At least you'll have that.
I will go to sleep at 3 a.m. when I finish all the work I didn't do because this took me all day.
Yeah. The work I have to do. I don't want to think about it.
Oh my god, I don't.
Finals are coming up.
I don't even want to.
Oh boy.
God.
I'm gonna pee myself, guys. Piss and pooping. It's not good. Oh boy.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Shall we get into
the topic?
Paranormal.
Yeah.
Paranormal experiences.
A different kind of fear, but fear again. Phew. Yeah, paranormal. I did, I'm not going to talk about this story right now, but I did drop a little crumbs in the last episode. Was it the last one? Where I kind of mentioned it was one of my paranormal experiences, sort of, but I didn't, like, build into it.
Yeah, I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
The Halloween episode? God, we have not uploaded since Halloween. That is atrocious.
I'm sorry, guys.
I mean, we have lives. It's, like, not our fault. But Halloween seems so far away now because I literally started decorating for Christmas today. Yeah. And we haven't uploaded since Halloween. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody cares.
They're like, oh, thank God.
Half the people are probably gone by now. So if you're listening to this, thanks, because our analytics say that people usually stop watching after about 2 minutes.
It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That's okay.
It is. We have 105 views on one of our videos, and most people only watch to about 3 minutes. So
Yeah. Hopefully we are entertaining enough that you've made it 3 minutes and 1 second in, at least. Please. Break the record.
yeah,
I dare you. I bet you couldn't, guys. I bet you guys could
I bet you can't watch
watch
the
it.
whole thing.
I
If you
bet
send
you.
us proof you watched the whole thing,
Yeah.
we'll give you a prize.
Yeah. I bet you could like and subscribe. Smash that like button like a king/queen/royalty you are. Please. I mean, yeah. I bet you could. Anyways. Yeah. Paranormal experiences. We're getting sidetracked.
Boy, where do we start?
Where do we start? Would you like to start?
I mean, I guess I can just preface by saying, like, I come from a historically witchy family, but not witchy in the sense of like, oh, I cast a spell on you and I make magic potions. Not that kind of witch, but
Yep.
like more of a I mean, I more of a realistic type of witch.
Yeah.
It's
A
well,
realsies.
it's called well witching.
Uh-huh.
If no one has heard of that, so not really a witch, but they call it well witching. Essentially, what it is the ability of someone to find water in the ground.
Yeah.
So if people know what dowsing rods are, which are sometimes used for ghost hunting, you like hold them in front of you, and they're little like rods, and they will like cross or like go the opposite way. I'm not explaining this well in words.
Right. I get it. I get it. I understand.
Essentially,
Yeah.
so my grandpa had this ability, right? And what he
Yeah.
would do is he would take a metal like a Y-shaped piece of metal. So
Yeah.
like, the thing and then it branches off in two directions.
Uh-huh.
He would hold the two sides of the Y,
Yeah.
and the long single end would be pointing up,
Yeah.
and he would walk across like a, I don't know, area of land.
Uh-huh.
And when that rod started getting pulled towards the ground, like when it started turning towards the ground,
Yeah.
he would know he was getting closer to water. And the further he got, or the closer, sorry, he close. Can you tell I'm tired? Can you tell I'm so tired? Anyways, the closer
You
he
got
got
this.
to the water, it would be like it would face straight down, and that's how
Yeah.
he knew that the water was down there. And then from there, he would take a saw blade, and he would hold the end that, like, not the handle end, but the other end,
Yeah.
and he would let it bounce. Like, he wouldn't bounce it himself, he would just hold it and he would let it naturally bounce, and he would
Yeah.
count how many times it bounced. And
Yeah.
so say it bounced like 13 times. He would say, okay, right here is where you're going to find water 13 feet down. And sure enough, he was always 100% correct. They would dig 13 feet down in that exact spot and they would find water.
Wow. Grandpa.
And not everyone has this ability. Like, 'cause my family, we've all tried it because we knew that he had the ability, and we wanted to know if like we all had it because he had it. And only me and my other cousin and our two mothers, because they're both biologically my grandfather's kids.
Yeah.
We were the only four in the whole family, because two kids were adopted. So two of my aunt and my uncle are adopted. So the only two biological kids and then biological grandkids were the ones that had the ability.
That's cool. Look at you go,
Quite cool.
Witcher. Love that.
I've never used the skill
You should.
other
Just
than
like walk around your university.
just like I walk around the university, I go to the lake and I'm like, "Hey guys, did you know there was water here?"
Guys, if you look down, I think you
Hey,
find water.
Yeah, you know this bridge here? It's actually here because yeah, there's water right here.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Did you not know that? Yeah, you're welcome. I just saved your lives.
I know, yeah, sorry. That's what I do.
Oh, for the people that don't know, my university is divided by a huge river. So
Yeah.
that's the joke. Be like, "Hey, did you guys know there's water here?" Well, you do now. You're welcome. I'm a
Yeah.
witch. No big deal.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, you're welcome.
make sure, yeah, that's, you know what? You're a hero. A modern day hero. I hope you do that. That's really fun. It's
But yeah, it's quite cool. He was even in the newspaper. Like, it's a legit skill. He's used it to help people before. Like, people will call him and be like, hey, I need to get a water line put in. Could you tell me where the water source is? And he'll go over and he'll find it.
I hope we got paid for that.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah, I'd be charging up a storm for that one, but that's just me. Anyways.
Yeah, he was quite good at it. It's crazy.
Good.
He also he learned it from his uncle, so it's been running in the family for a while.
Yeah. I wonder, did he have like was it like a training session, or was he just like naturally good at it? I don't know if you would know that though.
Well, I don't know how his uncle learned. I don't know the history past that, but I just know that one day his uncle was there helping out his family, and then his uncle was like, hey, come try this. And he tried it, and sure enough, he could do it. And so he honed his skill over the years and then taught us. Well, he didn't really teach us. I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, try this and see if you can do it.
Yeah. Huh. And you could.
Yeah. But I think it says something to the fact that it's like kind of like magical and like witchy, to the fact that the only people in the family that were able to do it were the ones that are actually biologically related to him.
Yeah.
So there has to be some sort of like witchy factor happening there.
Yeah, some sort of like something in the blood.
Yeah.
TM blood. Gotta look into that. Give me your blood real quick. I want to see if oh, never mind. It's fine. I was gonna say something, but
what?
I was gonna say if I ingest your blood, would I be able to find water too? But I don't think that's how it works.
I didn't know you were a vampire. That's crazy.
No, not yet. Just on weekends. Yeah.
Only when it suits me.
Yeah, like not always, but sometimes I feel like it. Edward era. And that's really cool though. So, do you think those witchy factors, like, I don't know, like,
I think they play a role in things I will get into after, but I want to give you a chance to I want to bounce back and forth here with stories and not just be the only one talking. So
yeah,
would you like to tell a story now?
Sure. It's kind of unfortunate because, I don't have all that much, history with the paranormal. I don't see things. I hear things sometimes, but sometimes I think I'm just that's probably just me. Because, I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Probably just losing my mind. It's fine.
It's fine.
No biggie.
No biggie. I don't know. Sometimes you hear, whispering, and I'm just yeah, you said it. I don't know what you say, but, I'm just yeah. Period. Mm-hmm. If I do hear ghosts, I don't really that's cool. I hope they're having a good time. I don't really care. Sometimes I do hear footsteps in the hall, and they're really loud, and I'm God, shut up! And I would open the door, and the minute I opened the door, they would stop, and I would look down the hallway, and no one's there, and it's not a big hallway. It's just a house hallway. And there's not any curves in the hallway. Sometimes the doors are even closed. So I'm just huh. And then I just move on with my day. Apparently, it's happened a couple
as you
times.
Do.
Yeah, it's happened maybe 3 or 4 times. But honestly, I don't know if I would call it paranormal because I've never. I don't know. It's kind of goofy. It's really annoying. But
that's the thing about paranormal. It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to prove it exists.
Yeah.
Because it's how much of this is a ghost or how much of this is just me hearing things. It's really hard to know.
It's definitely it's all about witnesses, and witnesses are hard to trust. You can't trust the human mind really.
And even the devices that exist are very it's called pseudoscience, where it's they're not really, you can't really trust them 100%, so evidence captured with them can't really 100% be trusted.
Yeah, and I think there's a pretty big market for it too, so there's a lot of people who take advantage of the fact that people believe in the paranormal, and obviously those, I feel everyone kind of knows those apps that it's the ghost camera, it's you point it and then you can see ghosts, that's just people trying to get you like trying to get money from you. Like that's
The
just a
Ouija
lot
board
of it.
app.
The Ouija
God,
board.
it's so stupid.
So stupid. I love that. It's so funny to me. Yeah, and like the stuff that's like maybe more legit, even that is like a little questionable. But it's
Anyways,
cool.
did you have a story?
I do have a couple stories.
Or do you want to wait?
Well, I don't know. Do you guys want to? Do you? I don't know. Do you guys? Which you guys can't talk to me because you're in the beyond. But
In the beyond.
in the beyond, away, far away from me, wherever
No,
you are.
you start off the ghost stories.
Okay, you know what? I will. Well, the thing about my family is that, like, since my family's has been pretty religious, so I think the fact that I haven't really been exposed to too many ghosty things might have to do with that, which is my theory in general. Because sometimes I'll go into places, just like public places, or I'll just like, I don't know, like places that isn't my house. Like, not necessarily public, but like, someone else's house. I'll just be like walking and I see something move. Like the whole shadow of the corner of your eye thing. I see that like pretty often, but never in my house. Maybe like the lighting in my house is just like really great, or maybe I get so nervous when I'm not in my house because I don't know. I have no clue, but it's not really. I don't have a specific time, but I do remember. I was at one of our friends' house, and we were just chilling in like the basement area, and literally just minding our own business. I think we were playing Monopoly or like Uno or something. That has nothing to do with the story, but it's okay. And I
Details are important.
Yeah, I think I was losing, probably. If it was Monopoly, I was losing, because I like to spend money, so oops.
If it was Monopoly, I was probably crying. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, maybe. But I heard like a whoosh, like a woof, like a comic, like it was almost funny. It was like a comically like cartoonish whoosh-ish, but it was really, really quiet. And I could see like a dark shadow kind of in the corner of my eye. I just remembered this like last week because I was thinking about it. Because I was like, I gotta think of some good like, I gotta think about stuff. I didn't like I saw something pass and I was like, she has pets. But it was obviously not an animal because it was like tall and dark. But I was like, she has pets, whatever. I just like dismissed it. So God knows.
It was tall and dark?
Tall and dark. It was
Was it handsome?
I wish. Actually, it might have been. I hope they, visit again so I can double check, if you know what I mean. Tall, dark,
God. And every single one of these podcasts, you're always something for someone.
Something and someone, yeah.
Usually something.
That's, yeah. Oopsies. What can I say? Yeah. But it's, again, just like the corner of the eye stuff. But it's never really anything solid that creeps me out because I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just going insane. Or like, oh yeah, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so that's fair. Yeah. Which kind of sucks, but I'll try and like pay more attention and like actually give myself the credit or like the benefit of doubt and be like, maybe it was something. Yeah. I've been trying, yeah. Anyways, that's my smallish ghost story. It's not really a ghost story, it's more of a maybe paranormal, who knows?
Yeah, I have one of those too, so that this perfectly leads into that.
Cool.
Well, like, because essentially, like, the way I'm going to tell these stories is, like, in order of when they happen, and they sort of tell the tale of, like, my paranormal journey as I have come to discover myself in relation to the paranormal, which will make more sense as we continue talking. So, yeah, this leads in quite nicely because my very first, like, quote-unquote paranormal experience, I'm not 100% convinced was a paranormal experience, but you never know.
Yeah.
So essentially, when I moved into my second house, so I don't know how old I was, but I think we moved in when I was like 8, so this probably happened when I was like 9 or 10, because it was like a year or two after we had come into that house.
Yeah.
So it was dark in my room because I was going to bed. But my eyes were open and I was looking around my room in the darkness.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm less inclined to believe that this one was real was because I saw it with my eyes open and I was looking into darkness, which as a psychology major, I know your brain just works that way. It tries to interpret what it's seeing, so it'll make faces out of things that aren't necessarily faces.
Yeah.
And it'll make more sense later why I'm less inclined to believe it because I had my eyes open. But anyways, essentially, I used to have two pillows on my bed, but now I just really sleep with one because I never used the other one. But I used to have the pillow that I was sleeping on, and then I had a pillow like on the other side of the bed. And so I was on my side looking towards the other side of the bed, and I looked over there, and I was staring into one place for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, like, I could make out what looked like a girl with like just past shoulder length hair. She had her head propped up on her hand. She was facing me, and she was looking at me, and she was smiling.
No.
And I drew a picture of it, which I can't show you because this is a podcast, but that just goes to show you how much I remember, like, what she looked like. So I saw enough detail that I was able to then replicate what I imagined she looked like when I saw her.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking behind me. Yep. Ooh, I hate it.
And so because that was my like very first paranormal experience, because nothing really happened to me before I like moved to that house, or not that I can remember, because I lived in a very small townhouse before that.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know all too much about ghosts at that time. Like when I was living in that old house, I mean. So when I moved to the second house, I knew a little bit more, so that's why I'm thinking maybe it was like a figment of my imagination. But anyways, I was so scared because did not have like as much knowledge of the paranormal, and like nothing had happened to me up until that point. I got so scared I shut my eyes and I was like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
That's fair.
And then I woke up the next morning and nothing else happened.
Wow. I would be pissing, bro.
Or I was quite scared.
Yeah, I would be throwing hands or pissing. I'm not really sure if I wanted to hit a child. If I was a child, I'd hit a child.
I mean, she looked kind of nice. Like, she looked young.
Okay.
Like, she was probably, like, 11 or 12-ish.
Yeah.
I'd say. Like, she was young, and she was female. And she was just smiling at me. Like, she wasn't doing anything other than that.
Was it like a malicious smile? Or was it, like, malicious? Or was it like a, hey?
I don't know. It was like a smirk. Like, she was only smiling on one side.
That's,
like imagine imagine like Titanic.
Yeah.
When Rose goes like, paint me like one of your French girls, and she like props up her head on her hand.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what she does? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was laying on my bed with her head propped on her hand, like looking at me and smirking. So either she was like, hey, what's up? I'm glad to see another girl lives here, or she was like, hey, what's up? Glad to see another woman lives here.
That's so funny. It was like
I should either be scared or horny. I don't know. No, I was like 9.
God forbid. Oh my god. Jesus. She was just like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
Like,
cool.
Oh girl, you looking fine. Let me just climb into your bed.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. That's so funny. But that's also like terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's weird because, like, again, this will make sense later, but I had my eyes open, and so I feel like I might have just been making sense of what, like, my brain might have been just making sense of what it was seeing in the darkness.
Yeah.
But it was, like, such a vivid, like, imagery in my brain that I was able to then draw it in my sketchbook years later.
That's insane. It just, like, stuck with you, yeah.
It stuck with me, and I was able to draw what I thought she looked like, perfectly.
God. Yeah, like, I've done that before, but like, for me, it's usually just walls. Like, my old house, I used to sleep against the wall, and I would stare at the wall until I would fall asleep. And me as a kid, I would throw things at the wall, but like there was like dents and stuff. And like some of them make like little grooves in the wall and whatever. And my mind would like make them into faces. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh, that's enough for me. And I would like turn around and just be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
But I've had that, yeah. But nothing like that though. Like nothing as
Yeah,
like
that's why
vivid.
that's why it's so hard to believe, just because like the brain is, it's a convoluted, crazy thing, and I get to
Yeah.
study it. Yay!
Woohoo! No, yeah.
Anywho,
That sounds like a nightmare. Yeah.
would you like to add something now, or is it going
Uh,
still me?
Honestly, like besides just relating to that, like I'm sure you've had like the laundry basket turns into like a person at
Yeah.
night. Yeah. I once the laundry basket turned into like a really pretty lady for me, and I was like, damn,
Oh, I was
hey.
like,
I
damn,
was like, okay, I
you
see.
can get mad at it if you want.
And it was just like a pile of really dirty clothes. Like I was like, oh damn. Well, never mind.
Darn,
Yeah, I was really
it's
upset.
not a really sexy lady about to seduce me. Darn it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Oh well, what you gonna do? But yeah, that's really cool, but like really scary. Ooh.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I've ever seen. Well, no, that's not true. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's not true. I was gonna say that's the only thing I've ever seen with my eyes open, but
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, is it me or you?
It's you. Go for it. I will save
Okay.
my big story for later.
Well, the other, like, I just a small story is that another thing that used to happen to me in that second house, um, like sort of in between the that last story and then the one I'll tell after this one. So
Yeah.
just sort of like a span of thing, like it happened just periodically over the years that I lived there. I lived there for probably like 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
Um so essentially every time I would go to bed, well not every time, but I would go to bed
Uh-huh.
and it was really only in one ear more so than the other.
Yeah.
But I could still hear it in both ears, but it was just louder in one ear. And this is another thing that I'm not 100% gonna like claim is this paranormal because it could literally be anything.
Yeah.
And I have recently learned I'm partially deaf in one ear, so that could contribute to it.
Maybe.
But essentially, I would lie in bed and I could hear it in one ear, but I would flip over to the other side because I knew that it was louder in the other ear.
Yeah.
And the only way I can describe it, and I have also drawn a picture of this, the only way I can describe it is that it sounds like there's about 20 spirits or like people like just hovering over my ear, all crowding around me and just going like and I can like it sounds like people, but I can never tell what they're saying. And I've tried. I've like really focused in and tried to like understand what they were saying to see if there was a single word that could be understood so that maybe I
Yeah.
could believe that like they're actually ghosts and not just like a combination of like like white noises I'm hearing in my house, you know?
Yeah.
But I could never understand what they were saying. But what I drew in the picture was just like the back of my, like what I look like lying in bed, facing
Yeah.
away from the like the
POV.
perspective of like the person looking at the drawing,
Yeah.
and it just has like a whole bunch of faces crowded around my ear because that's what it sounds like. It
Ew.
literally
I'm
just sounds like 20 different people going like
Simlish. Oh boy.
Simlish, yeah.
Oh, the
And that's the
Sims.
thing. Another thing that I can't claim is like paranormal because it could literally just be like, oh, my fan was running and the refrigerator is like making noise and all
Yeah.
these house settling things are happening and it's just causing me to hear what sounds like whispering. I
Tinnitus or
don't
something.
know.
Yeah.
I really don't
Oof.
know.
Yikes. Either way, that's terrifying. That's
Yeah.
again. Did you hear like mouth noises? Was it like gross or was it just like whispers?
I don't remember hearing mouth noises. No. It literally sounded like I was walking through like You know when like movies depict purgatory as just like a bunch of spirits like crowded in a like dark area and you have to like
Yeah.
the character in the movie will have to like push through. I'm thinking of Insidious specifically, but if you don't haven't seen that movie, you can just picture it. You just have to like push through all the spirits that are trying to like cling to you because they want to get out of purgatory. That's what it sounded like. It just sounded like so many ghosts were like in the room trying to like whisper something like help me or something, but I could never hear what they
Yeah.
were saying. Like it
Yeah.
sounded almost desperate, but I just didn't know what they were saying.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I have not heard it since. Like I moved
Since.
houses and I've never heard it. Like I actually forgot that it happened. I remembered it like like a month ago and I was like, "Oh, I forgot that happened because it just stopped happening at some
Jeez.
point and then I forgot it ever happened."
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Do you think it could have been tinnitus or something like that?
No. Tinnitus is more of like a ringing.
For you? Yeah. Okay.
I have why am I forgetting what it's called? Oh, pulsating tinnitus. I can hear my
Oh,
heartbeat. I can hear
yeah.
my heartbeat in my ear, but that does not sound like whispering. And then
Yeah.
regular tinnitus is just like a high pitched ringing. So no, it
Yeah.
wouldn't sound like whispering.
Yeah. Because for me, my tinnitus is more of like waves, or it used to be. I haven't had it in a while. There was like waves, which still isn't whispering, so I guess it wouldn't be tinnitus at all. But that's
And it
really
was only at
interesting.
night. Like it's not like I could hear it during the day. It was only at
Yeah.
night.
Wow. That's insane. That's
But yeah,
crazy.
take that as you will because I trust me, like I'm not trying to claim to you that this is a paranormal experience and I can hear dead people. It's just a weird thing where I was like, those sound like people talking in my ears
Yeah.
desperately, and I was like, that's odd. Houses don't really make that noise, but yeah.
Usually, yeah. Yeah, and that's usually what most things are. Like, at least for me, paranormal experiences, mine have just been like weird things that happen. I'm just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's
yeah,
just like yeah, we're both kind of skeptics. Like I don't think either one of us like 100% wholeheartedly like believes. We want
yeah.
to, but we
That's,
also
yeah,
know that like there's a lot of things that could just be a million other things besides a ghost.
yeah, like, it's so hard to prove, but I'm
Mhm.
willing to try and prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Like, back to, like, I don't remember much about my old houses, but since you mentioned like your second house, my first house, I lived there until I was like roughly 7, 6. I was very young, and I only have a couple memories of it. But I do remember being like the basement just being horrible, which is like I feel like pretty normal for kids. Like no one likes
Yeah.
the basement, which is
Mhm.
fair. But there was like the the heater room or heating room, I
Mhm.
don't know, that area that I hated. And I remember I had a dream once where I I went to bed and I had a dream that my brother went downstairs to the boiler room and there was just skeletons everywhere. And that dream has stuck with me for a long time because they were like singing skeletons, so like it wasn't completely terrifying, but it was scary to me. I was very scared. And there was a fight that went through, like the skeletons attacked my brother, and it was crazy. It was insane. Um, that's not the point of the story, but I do remember like going down there, and this was probably mostly just my childhood brain or my little tiny baby brain, my dumb little inkling pea brain that was trying to scare me. And I remember standing there and I could swear I could feel people around me. And I was like, no. And I would walk out. It wasn't the fact that it was like small and cramped, it was that I could feel like it was like almost claustrophobic, but it wasn't at the same time because it felt like it was crowded, but it
Hmm.
shouldn't have been because it was a boiler room.
Strange.
Yeah, it felt crowded, and I was like, I'm out of here. Yeah, I just remembered that just now. Like I forgot all about that. It's crazy.
Repression.
Yeah.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Sorry,
Good time.
that's my psychology studying coming through right now.
Yeah.
Also, just I want to clear the air and say if you can hear me swallowing, I wholeheartedly apologize
Me
because
too.
I'm chugging a coffee right now because after this I have to do so much work and stay up all night.
Yeah. It's yeah. Me too. I'm sipping my water because I don't think I've had water in like a good week and a half. So,
And
you
my
know.
throat hurt. My throat hurts because I've been singing Christmas carols all day to get through the
Yeah.
coping of walking through the cold to get on a bus.
Oh my god, yeah. Ugh, the cold. Anyways,
Anyways,
yes.
whoa, we said that
In sync.
same brain.
Yeah.
See, now this story onward is where things start to ramp up.
Oh yeah.
This story is like the first of my journey to what I think I might be now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. It's one of my craziest stories.
Ooh yeah.
So, I want to try and tell this properly.
Uh-huh.
So, essentially, it was late one night in my second house, which was, like, I keep saying second house, like, I haven't had more than two. It's just that, like, my most recent house, I no longer live in, because I live in
Yeah.
dorms now, and that house has, like, been sold. So, let's just say when I refer to my house that that's the one I'm talking about, and then the one, my first house will just be my old house.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
I was in my house, and something had happened that night that made me very, very upset. So I went back to my room and I was like, essentially, I didn't know. I've since had many and I understand what they are, thanks university. But I don't think I knew at that time, but I was basically having a mental breakdown, right?
Yeah.
I was like fully like backed myself into a corner, sat curled up, like sobbing hysterically, like just not in a good headspace, right?
Yeah.
And I cried like for probably an hour and a half straight.
Yeah.
And then it was really late, so I was like, well, I have to go to bed. So I literally just picked myself up out of the corner once I had somewhat calmed down, crawled into bed, and I was like still sniffling and like crying a little bit.
Yeah.
But the lights were off, it was dark. I had been crying in the dark, you know, very melodramatic of me.
Oh.
And so this is the weirdest thing about this story is that it happened just after I closed my eyes. And that's why I kept saying before that the girl in my bed was very odd and less believable because my eyes were open.
Yeah.
Because everything that's happened to me since then, for the most part, has happened to me when my eyes were closed and or I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
So essentially what happened was I was in bed facing the same way as I was when I saw the ghost girl.
Yeah.
And I briefly looked because my room is in a square shape, and then it has like a little tiny type of like corridor, alcove. That's what you call it. It has like a little alcove, if I can say that word. So it's like a small, tiny little rectangle. It could literally touch both walls that just protrudes out of one side of the square. So there's like a little wall there in the corner, right?
Yeah.
And so I briefly, like, because I was looking in that direction, I briefly, like, glanced towards that corner, and then I shut my eyes. And I didn't see anything with my eyes open when I looked in that corner.
Yeah.
But the second that I closed my eyes, I got this mental image of a really tall man wearing a trench coat and wearing a fedora type hat.
Oh yeah. Tall, dark, and
Which,
handsome.
yes, which if you are familiar with ghost hunting of any sort, that is a reoccurring thing people see all the time.
Yeah.
But I want to preface and say I had never, and I promise you, never heard of the Shadow Man and what he looked like before I had got that mental image.
Yeah.
But because it was only a mental image and I didn't see it with my eyes open, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, that's a weird thing I just thought of in my brain. He's funky looking. How weird. How crazy of me. I love horror. That's just something normal that my brain must do. And then I went to bed. Because I thought that I thought I just got, like, I imagined it, and then I went to bed.
Yeah.
Then the next morning, I remembered that I saw that, and I like looked it up and I was like, oh, it's weird. And then I discovered that it was actually like a thing. And other
Yeah.
people had seen it and other people like knew what it looked like.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's exactly what I saw. People described the exact same thing that I saw.
Yeah.
Sorry. So then I drew it, and it was like, well, I drew it to the exact way that I saw it.
Yeah.
And then I looked at pictures and it was like the same.
God.
Like the exact same looking as it was. It was crazy. But then this is where the story gets even crazier.
Yeah.
So again, I've never heard of this shadow person before. I didn't know anything about it. The fact that it appears everywhere, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the like websites that
Uh-huh.
were talking about this person and what he does. And it essentially said that he comes to you when you're at your worst,
Yeah.
when you're like really low and you're really upset, which, as you know, I was.
Yeah.
And he sort of stands there and looms in the room to warn you. Well, some people say he's warning you and that he's good, and some people say that he wants to prey on you. So it's kind of like, is he good? Is he bad? Nobody knows. But some people
Yeah.
say he's there to warn you that if you don't fix your mental state, if you don't get in a better headspace, something dark will happen to you.
Yeah.
Which I'm more inclined to believe that that might have been what it was, because I don't think anything happened to me. I just saw him in the corner, went to bed, nothing happened. I didn't
Nothing
like wake
happened.
up to him standing in front of me or like at the foot of my bed, which is what some people say.
Ooh, no.
I didn't have any malicious like experience with him, so I'm more inclined to believe that that's why he was there. But other
Yeah.
people say that he goes there because he wants to prey on you while you're weak. But again, nothing creepy happened to me, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
He's just popping in.
But
He's
yeah,
like,
that
yeah.
was quite weird because
Ugh.
I only got a mental image of it, and
Yeah.
it's such a clear mental image, and I had never like thought of a shadow person. I never knew anything about a shadow person until then.
Yeah. So when you say mental image, is it like how would you describe it as? Is it like you just think it up and there's just that's it?
Okay, no. Okay, here's what it's like, and I
Yeah.
want everyone to do this at home, and including you.
Yeah.
So, no. Keep your eyes open
Okay.
for at first. Okay.
Okay.
So your eyes are open.
Uh-huh.
Look around your room wherever you are. See the things that you can see, and you know that they're actually clear things that are literally in front of you. And
Yeah.
your brain's interpreting them, but you know that like they're not mental like figments. They're actually like you can touch them. They're in front of you.
Yeah.
So I don't see it like that.
Oh.
Well, sometimes I do. This is getting complicated. Anyways,
Yeah.
most of the time I don't see it in front of me.
Yeah.
But now I want you to, but don't do it until I tell you to. But I want
Yeah.
you guys to close, not right now, but I want you to close your eyes. And in that like first second when you close your eyes, like pay attention to what you see, which is most likely just going to be black and nothingness. But
Yeah.
for me, what usually happens in that 1 second of black is something very vivid, and like I can get a very clear picture of what it is, even though my eyes are closed. So now I'm going to tell you, close your eyes and pay attention. So right now, you see how the light like changes
Yeah.
in that one
Cool.
second? You
Yeah,
go
it
from
does.
like the light of your room to boom, your eyes are closed and you see like a flash of light as the thing goes. You can open your eyes now.
Oh, okay. Just resting, you know.
As the you can keep like closing and opening them and just pay attention to the fact that it goes from brightness in your room or your environment
Yeah.
to darkness, but you just get that like flash of like
Flash.
light.
Yeah.
So for me, that's when it will happen.
Huh. Oh,
And
okay.
it's not always when I close my eyes. Sometimes it's when I look away from something, but the effect is the same. It's that
Interesting.
like in that 1 second of like flash of darkness, imagine like something were to just be in that darkness, like popping out at you. So I'll can give you a better like I can give you a better description of this in future stories. But
Yeah.
just imagine that like 'cause the top hat man, he was all black. So I was picturing something black within blackness because you know
Yeah.
when you close your eyes all you see is black. But for future stories, the things that were flashing out at me were very like colorful and vivid.
Whoa. so cool. Oh,
It's
that's creepy
weird. I don't
though.
know.
Yeah. Is it
And
like a
like
jump
I
scare?
didn't
Sorry.
no. No, it's never I've never seen faces. So it's never like scary. The
Yeah.
details that I usually see are non-face related.
Huh.
But like I never thought anything of it. I just thought like it was my imagination or something until like quite a few things had happened to me, and like I had talked spoken about it to Bethany.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell these stories later, but yeah, I never thought anything of it until I kept like things kept happening in the exact same way,
Yeah.
and I heard stories from other people, like specifically Selena Spooky Boo, if you know her
Oh yeah.
on YouTube or like TikTok. She also claims that she sees things, but only in her mind.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's insane. That's like exactly what happens to me. And I didn't think I was like anything. Like, I didn't think I'd be clairvoyant. I just thought my brain was making things up. And to be fair, it could, but like it's very odd that it keeps happening to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen to other people.
Yeah, it does not happen with me at least. I've never had that before. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, that was a lot of talking I just did. So it's your turn.
God damn.
And then we'll
Yeah.
then we'll return to the clairvoyant TM
Yeah.
show.
Uh, yeah. It's unfortunate because I haven't really experienced all that much myself of like seeing things or things happening to me that it's like that. Like I've never been like, whoa, I just saw something. Usually it's just like quick things from the corner of my eye that I'm just like, that's probably something else.
Well, that's me too. Like
Yeah.
I've never actually like seen something in front of me where I was like there's this other medium from Sam and Colby, if anyone watches. Her name's Amanda, and she will like tell people there is a woman standing right behind you and I can see her right now, and she
Yeah.
claims to be able to talk to them. Like that has never happened to me. I've never been
Never.
able to like watch them in front of me for
Yeah.
prolonged periods of time.
Yeah.
So it's always just like a split thing. So it's not, yeah,
Yeah.
it's also not like 100%.
In front. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I don't know. Nothing has ever really happened to me that's had me go like, what the, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
usually if I do see like, the shadows in the corners or whatever, I pause for a second, I'm just like, okay, anyways, and I just move on with my day. Which is like
Yeah.
I now that I've like heard about your your thing where like when you close your eyes you get mental images, and that like most things are like very quick and very like easy to miss if you're not
Mm-hmm.
like that. I've been trying to pay more attention to those shadows that I see in the corner, but like I think the more I pay attention the less I see them, so like it's just like
Yeah,
great.
that's the other thing. I can't make it happen. Like I've never been
Yeah.
able to like control it.
Yeah. It's
So
I
it's
don't
like
know.
not I'm not like consciously trying.
Yeah. It's definitely when you're just like minding your own business and it just
Mm-hmm.
happens. It's weird. But my father apparently, and this is related to me. This is not just my dad, but he apparently has seen things. I don't know. I guess yeah, the paranormal. I don't know if it would be demonic entities, like ghosts. I don't know, poltergeists. Who knows? But I don't know what to classify them as because he doesn't know either. But he doesn't really lie. And like I remember as a kid hearing this, and it was a very hushed conversation, and I was pooping my pants around the corner of the door because I was not supposed to be there. And it was like an actual conversation, and I'm gonna tell it to you guys because it's a really cool story. So basically, this happened in my old house. So my first house, where I also, again, this is the same house where I was scared in the basement. That one. And this old house was a bungalow. It was just one story, and then it had a basement. So it was pretty tight, and I had five siblings in that. No, four siblings in that house. So we had to move out quite quickly. So we weren't there for too long. But I remember not too much of like the layout, but I do remember there being like obviously the kitchen was right next to like the entrance of the door. The door was there, like the kitchen was right next to the door, and then there was a hallway that went from the kitchen and it just went down. And at the very end of the hallway there was a door to a bedroom, and there's just like, doors on each side of the hallway on the walls with like
Mm-hmm.
the bedrooms, which is like pretty standard for houses. And I used to sleep in the bedroom across my parents' bedroom. Uh, so they were facing each other. I actually moved from that bedroom to the one at the very end of the hall after, but that's what apparently as a child, as a very small infant, as in like a couple months old, I would sleep across the hallway of my parents. A couple months old, as in maybe a year, because my parents had me as like a very small infant in their room, but then I moved. Whatever, it's fine. Anyways, so yeah, get that like image. Parents' bedroom one side of the hallway, my bedroom on the other side of the hallway. And like if you had the door open and you were laying in bed in my parents' room, you could see the doorway, sort of. You could like see the door, maybe half the doorway of my door from where you were laying, like with your head down,
Mm-hmm.
which will come into play later. The story starts off. I'm like maybe almost a year old. I'm still pretty young. Me as in myself, and my parents had the night before everything happened. My parents had invited people over, and I remember my dad telling my mom, being like, "I do not like I don't like the vibe that they have." He didn't say that exactly. He was just like, I don't know if he had beef with them. I'm not sure exactly why, but he was just like, these guys are odd. And he doesn't really say that. He's usually like a pretty friendly guy. So apparently there was something off with one of the people that came over, and was just like not a fan of it. And which is fine. Like, you're allowed to dislike people. I don't care. But
Mm.
he just disliked one of the people, and later that night they left. Not because my dad kicked them out, but it was just like, yeah, I'm alright, bye, see you later. So yeah, and then my dad, my mom, and then all my siblings went to bed, and my mom put me into my little crib, which is by the door of my room, which is again across the door of my parents' room, and yeah, all is well. The night goes on, sleep, and then 6 a.m. in the morning hits. Um, I can't remember exactly like what time of the year it was, but I'm assuming it's like I was born in July, so it's probably springish. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so in the spring, the sun comes up kind of earlier, and it's like lightish out. So it's at 6 a.m. Like, my dad hasn't gotten up out of bed yet, but my mom has, because she's like a pretty early morning riser. And the routine my mom would do every morning was she would go check up on me, make sure I'm okay, I'm still breathing or whatever kids do, and she'd go to the bathroom, take her shower, do whatever she has to do, and then come back and take me on my bed and like feed me, do whatever. Uh, there was probably more things she did, but that's like the general gist of it. Uh, and basically, everything was going as normal. My dad was laying on his side, and he was looking out the doorway of his room, and he could kind of see my room, but he couldn't see me exactly. But since my crib was near the door, he could still kind of see like the crib. He could see the top of it, but
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't see into it because like usually cribs are lined with like blankets and stuff, so he couldn't really see what was going on in
Mm-hmm.
there. But he was like, "Yeah, there's probably a child in there because I put one there last night." So yeah, he was being lazy, so he's just like lying there, had his eyes open. He was probably pretty sleepy. I don't know. And he saw my mom go check up on me, and it seems like things were fine, so she went and took a shower, which was like on the other side of the hall. Like, it was like not even close to like that room. It wasn't even nearby. It wasn't like next door. It was like down the hall. And basically, he heard the shower start running, and he was just like staring out by. He wasn't really staring at anything in particularly. He was probably thinking about something, and suddenly he sees a shadow just pass by the front of his door. He describes it as a dark figure, which is not shadow, dark figure, because it wasn't like he just saw it from the corner of his eye. He saw it like it was like a thing, like an actual person. And he
Weird.
couldn't, yeah, he couldn't tell what it was exactly, but he knew it was a person. I remember him saying it looked maybe like an old person because it was hunched over.
Ew. Oh, I hate
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was hunched over, and I don't know why he didn't get up or do anything, but it sounds like he was just in shock that he was seeing this thing just like walk in front of his door. And of course, the hunched over thing, I don't know, the figure goes into my room and he can see the crib and he sees the hunched over figure just like look into the crib, bend down, and look like it's like picking up something, but he doesn't see me specifically. So he's just it's I still don't understand why he didn't like get up and like try to beat up this thing, but he was just like probably very scared and terrified. He was like home
Mm-hmm.
intruder, oh my god, trying to steal my kid. And hunched figure bends down over the crib, looks, he doesn't see a face, he doesn't see anything, just a dark shadow thing, but not a shadow because it's solid. And
Mm-hmm.
looks like picks up something, and presumably that's me because like what else are you picking up from a crib? And it looks like the shit that the shadow is like cradling, probably me again, and just like he doesn't see anything. It turns and it walks out of my room. He doesn't see a face. He doesn't see anything. It just like quickly like makes his way down, and he like he's in shock. He's like on his bed. He stands there. He's like, "Huh? Was that real? Did I just see that?" And he hears the front door slam. I remember that. He hears the front door slam. And I think that like gets him out of his bed and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he gets up and I'm still there. And he's just like he goes I think he like looks out the window, he doesn't see anything. He goes downstairs, he's like looking around, no sign of like home invasion or nothing. And he like comes to his bed, he looks and he sits on his bed again and he still hears the shower running. So he's like, that wasn't my wife. That was who knows what. Uh and lo and behold, that's the story I heard as a very young child accidentally because I wasn't supposed to hear it when I was like
Wow.
a very young kid. Yeah, I should actually ask him more about it because that's just those parts I remember. But
What
yeah,
would the ghost be cradling? Do you think maybe it stole your soul?
that's what I was. I was like, damn. I remember hearing that. I was like, so I'm just destined for hell. That's great.
It stole the soul of your, like the baby soul?
Yeah, that's what I thought actually. I was like, huh. But I got a soul. I am pure soul and charm. So maybe it stole. I don't know. The whole package. What could it steal? you know, I'm not sure, but I couldn't tell you.
Weird. That's so creepy.
Yeah, and it's the fact that it was hunched over too. Like, ugh.
Oh yeah, I hate that imagery. I also, it's so weird that like you heard the door slam.
The door slam, which is weird, right?
Because that makes it more believable to not just be
Like it just a
yeah,
his
like not
moody
just like a
mind, right?
mental image that it was actually. Although, can I just say, I feel like your dad should have been more concerned that he was
Morgan's
seeing someone steal his baby.
literally. I don't know, but it sounded like at first he might have thought it was his wife because he was just like, "Who is this person?" Just like it might have been my mother.
Hmm.
But then again, my dad he has had experiences with like demonic things before. And like I don't know them specifically, so I won't tell them. And I would have to ask and get permission to like tell it. But he has like he has been like I don't know. Back when he lived in used to live in Trinidad, and he's Trinidadian, my father, and he's been around the block a couple times. It's it feels like he didn't see it as a threat until it slammed the door,
Hmm.
which is weird. I don't know if he thought it was malicious, if he just was like, yeah, okay. I would have to get more detail on what he thought it was, but
Or he's like, damn, the stress of having a newborn is really getting to me.
he's like, whew, thank
I'm
God.
seeing things.
He got up, he looked at the crib, he's like, dang it, still
Darn it,
there.
she's still here. Damn.
Yeah. I
God.
No clue.
And then he
And
proceeded to have 4 more.
4 more kids, which is ridiculous. Whatever. It's insane. Yeah, that's the story of how I maybe could have been picked up by a demon, which is pretty cool.
Maybe she doesn't have a soul. Who knows?
Yeah, which is also pretty cool. I don't really care. Good for them.
You don't act like you don't have a soul, so if you're missing a soul, then, who cares?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing my.
I'm chilling.
I'm chilling, honestly. Like, I'm not sure what it could have
Wait,
stole, but
she's a woman in STEM. She definitely has no soul.
oh, that's true.
That
It was
shit's
still.
soul killing.
Oh yeah, soul sucking even, bro. They ate it up. They knew. They were like, this girl's gonna be a woman in STEM. She doesn't need this. Yeah.
Anyways, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, go for it. Let's hear it.
So I'm gonna tell these 2 stories just sort of back to back because they're kind of like similar,
Yeah.
and they like wrap up sort of like what I've experienced in my time, and then I'll briefly say what I'm doing now. Anyways, so 2 things happened to me in the span of like one summer, which was this past summer, which we started this channel in the summer. So it was like
Yeah.
just before the channel and then during the channel.
Uh-huh.
So this first story, I was driving, and my mother was in the passenger seat, and I was still relatively new to driving. I still am, but I was practicing for my G2, so my mom wanted me to drive around everywhere instead of her driving. So we were going on back roads because I wasn't able to drive on the highway yet.
Yeah.
So we were on this one road, and I had to turn left,
Yeah.
and I remember the road was very narrow that I was turning onto, and the road that I was turning off of was like a highway.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, again, this is back roads, and there were no houses. Excuse me, there were no houses around the area.
Yeah.
And down the road that I was turning onto, a little bit down the road, is like a quarry. So there's a lot of trucks that go down this road, and there's a lot of dirt on the road because it's like that's where they're like mining and like digging for things, whatever a quarry does. I don't know.
Yeah. They do their thing. Yeah.
So that's the premise, right? So as I'm turning, I have to like, check everywhere, check each side of the road. And so I see from in front of me, walking towards me on the road that I'm on before I turn, I see an old person. I thought initially it was an old woman, but maybe it wasn't. I just saw an old person. Like I actually physically saw it with my eyeballs. They had white hair. Again, I didn't see a face. I didn't see any other details besides the white hair, the white skin, and a sweater that was blue and white, except... So it was striped, but the top section near the shoulders was a larger, like, chunk of blue. Yeah. And then there was a chunk of white, and then there were, like, thin white and blue stripes on the bottom half of the sweater. So, like, that goes to show you how much detail I saw in the, like, couple seconds I was looking at them to acknowledge that there was a person there that I needed to not hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Common knowledge.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
So then I completed the turn, and I, like, looked back over my side to see where that person was, and they weren't there anymore.
Yeah.
And I turned to my mom, and I was like, whoa, where did that person go? And she was like, what person? Which, to be fair, she said that she wasn't really paying attention to that. She was more focused on whether or not I was about to kill us with my turning abilities. I'm not that bad of a driver, I promise. My mom just does not trust me.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, she was like, honestly, I wasn't really paying attention. And I was like, oh, weird. Because I swore, like, I saw them, and they should have been right there, because they were turning the corner onto, like, they were going from the road I was already on, and they were turning the opposite corner of where I was. So they were turning to their, did I say I was turning left earlier? I literally don't know my directions. I was turning right. So they were turning to their left.
Gotcha.
But we were both turning onto the same road. Anyways, they were walking, and again, that was odd because it's what is this old person doing walking on the back roads where there are no houses?
Yeah, that's
It was
weird.
very odd. I was like, why is this old person? There's no sidewalk. It's not a safe road to be walking on, and they weren't with anyone. I was like, why is this old woman,
Yeah.
old person hunched over walking down a road when they don't look fit to be walking here? And there's where could they possibly be going?
The quarry.
Were they going to the quarry? Why are they going to the quarry?
You know, just hanging with the boys every Saturday night. I don't know.
But anyways, that was just the experience, and I was like, well, that was odd. And then like I went home later and I told Bethany about it, and I was also continuing to tell my mother, like, how could you not see that? Like, there was a person there and then they were gone. And she was like, well, you should like look it up and see if there are like houses around there that could explain why they might have been walking. So I went on Google Maps and I looked it up, and there were no houses around there. But then I searched up that road, and I said, like, what the name of the road? I don't remember what it is now. Deaths, and I looked that up so I could see if anyone had died there. Lo
Yeah.
and freaking behold,
Ooh.
there was this. I mean, I thought that they would be older. So I'm not saying that this perfectly matches up, but it's a potential.
Yeah.
There was a man who was like in his 60s, I think. 60s or 70s, I can't remember. In the picture that I saw, he had like grayish hair, but maybe that was like an older picture and he could have had white hair, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because the hair I saw was quite light, and he had what looked like brown hair that had become gray. But anyways, and he was driving down that road
Yeah.
in his car when a truck from the quarry hit him, and he died
Yeah.
on that road.
God.
And obviously the picture that I saw didn't have him wearing that specific sweater, because I don't think that picture would have been from the day he died. So
Yeah.
it's quite possible he could have been wearing a sweater like that when he died. But
Yeah.
I don't know, that was just really weird. And I know that literally could have been just an old person and then I lost sight of them and they went who knows where. But
Yeah.
again, it's just really odd that, like,
Just with the truck.
I think the fact that it's an old person makes it weirder. Because if it was
Yeah.
just a regular person, like, yeah, they could have been from the quarry. It could have been a young person, like, going to work. It could have been someone going for a walk. They could have been walking back from their car, like,
Yeah.
saying, who knows, like, anything.
knows?
But the fact that it was an old person on their own, hunched over, clearly, like, having somewhat problems walking,
Yeah.
was so weird. And although I did see it with my eyes, I only remember the specificities of what their, like, upper half of their body looked like. So that's what I mean when I say that details pop out at me,
Yeah.
is that I can picture them in my head right now. Exactly, the white hair, the short white hair.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it could be a man, because if it was a woman, then she had one of those, like,
Old lady cuts.
old lady cuts where it's like short hair because it's like all around their head, but it looks cute.
Yes.
Or it could have been a guy who just had short hair. I initially thought it was a woman, but maybe it was that man who died. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I mean when I say that, like, I don't remember seeing a whole person. I don't remember a face. The only two parts of that person I remember is the hair and the sweater. And I remember exactly what the sweater looked like, even the
Wow.
color blocking.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
should make you that sweater. Draw it for me. I'll crochet it for you, and you can just have it with you. Be like, yeah, I saw a ghost wear this once. I thought it was pretty cool. So I got it myself. That's insane, though. Just like the fact that your mom didn't see them either. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
she wasn't.
She
paying,
wasn't paying attention, but
but like still, it's like a pretty
But if
empty
she-
area.
like, she said she wasn't paying attention, but at the same time, if she was paying attention to making sure that I didn't make a driving mistake,
Yeah.
you think she would have acknowledged the fact that there was not.
Yeah.
Do you think she would have acknowledged the fact that there was a person there, and she probably would
Exactly.
have been like, okay, make sure that I need to make sure my daughter doesn't hit this stranger walking down the road.
Yeah.
Because she said she was focused on the road, she was focused on the Google Maps telling me where to turn, but you think she would have scanned the area and been like, okay, and make sure you don't hit that person.
Yeah.
But it's so weird to me that I saw the person, I interpreted the details, and I still remember them to this day as vividly as the first time I saw them. And I saw it enough, like, believably enough, that I had in my mind as I was turning, don't hit the old person, don't hit the old person, and I made a really sharp turn, because again, like I said, it was a narrow road, so even though they were on the opposite side to this direction that I was driving, I was like afraid I was going to hit them because it is quite a narrow road.
Yeah. Oh,
So I remember
wow.
thinking that, like, don't hit them, don't hit them. And they should have been right there when I turned. They should have been right in my side window. And I looked and they weren't there.
God.
And that's the thing. It's like they should have been right beside me when I turned my head to look, and they weren't.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why it's so freaking odd. And the fact that there has been a death there and it was an older person and it was only one death.
Me thinks he saw a ghost.
Very weird.
Yeah.
And then my second story is actually one that if you've seen quite a few of our videos, you would be familiar with. When we went ghost hunting, so this happened like maybe a week or a couple weeks after the old man story. We went ghost hunting, which was in, when's your birthday? June, July?
July 24th.
July. So it was in July, just after her birthday.
Yeah.
And so we were filming that day because we were going ghost hunting, but we weren't filming at this exact moment because Bethany was called home to babysit for a little bit because she has a lot of siblings. So we went back to her house. We were chilling for a little bit, eating, getting our game plan ready for how we were going to film and what we were going to do at the ghost hunting site. And so I was sitting on Bethany's skateboard.
Yeah.
Or her brother's, either one. I was sitting on a skateboard.
Yeah.
And this is always hard for me to explain because it's like, I don't know, at least for me, I think it's really hard when people explain details for me to like picture them, but I'm going to try and do my best to explain this to you. So Bethany's dad is like, he works in construction. So in her driveway, she had a like big metal garbage bin, like a really big one that they can like tow behind like their car or their truck, or I don't know how it gets there, but it's like a really big one meant for like construction waste. So if you're like renovating your house, you can like put all the bricks and all the tiles and the big thing and then bring it to the dump.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it took up a decent amount of like space, right? Like it blocked my view. So I was rocking back and forth on the skateboard. And every time I rocked forward, I could see. Oh, I guess I should give some preface. But it was in the video. We visited a pioneer cemetery that's near her house before
Right down the road. Yeah.
We went back to her house and before the events of this were happening.
Yeah.
And we didn't film this part, but we went back to it later because it ended up being a very significant part of our video.
Yeah.
But essentially we were like, hey, like, how are you guys, to the ghosts that we didn't see them, but we were just like, hey, how's it going? We're going somewhere else today that has ghosts. If you want to join us, you're welcome to. We'll bring you back. It'll be free. It'll be a little field trip, right? We were joking around and we invited them to come with us, not thinking anything of it. And then we came back. Yeah. So now back to the present moment. Oh, and there were also like children's graves there too, like really young babies to like teenagers, like, elementary school kids, like teenagers, like all sorts of ages, because they were pioneers and like the death rate was awful.
Yeah. Fantastic. It was great.
Anyways, so metal storage bin or metal garbage bin. So I was rocking back and forth on the skateboard. When I rocked forward, I could see a stop sign because Bethany has like hedges, and then between the hedges I could see a stop sign, which was like not near, but it was like on the road that I could see in my view when I rocked forward, right? Yeah. So rock forward, stop sign, rock back, the garbage covers it, right?
Yeah.
And I just kept doing that. I kept rocking forward and back and seeing the stop sign, not seeing the stop sign, seeing it, not seeing it. And Bethany was in her car, which was to my right, and the stop sign was to my left. And I was just staring. I was just focused because she was doing something with her siblings. But then she goes into her car and she retrieves something that she had purchased earlier that day. And she was walking away from her car back to her house, which was like the door was just behind me. And she said something to me. So it made me like look at her.
Yeah.
And so as I rocked forward, and I should have hypothetically been able to see the stop sign, as soon as I rocked forward and the stop sign should have been in my view, that's when I turned to look at her because she called me. But then as soon as I looked at her, I doubled back and realized that when I rocked forward, I didn't see the stop sign because I had expected to see it because I had been rocking back and forth for quite a bit now.
Yeah.
Right? And I realized I didn't see it, but I expected to see it. And like I just said about like how it pops into my head, it's not always when I close my eyes, but it works the same way. It just pops into my head vividly. And so then when I doubled back, I realized that the second I had looked away from the stop sign, I had gotten a mental image of like hair down to about like the ribs, sort of like, or like just under like the boobs.
Yeah. The
Not that
boobies.
this thing had boobs, but
You know.
you know the length I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it was blonde hair down just past the boobs, and I didn't see a face. I only can picture blonde hair in my head, and the fact that it's like straight and it's silky and it's like very light blonde, right?
Yeah.
And then I can picture a pink dress, and I honestly, it could be a pink shirt, but all I know is that the color pink and like the layout of like what could be a shirt or a dress like pops out at me. And I don't know a face, I don't know his skin color, I don't know anything else, just the hair and the color of the shirt dress thing is every like that's the only two things that vividly pop into my head.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything to Bethany in that moment because I just let her walk by, but I was just like, I looked at her and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I was just, you go on inside." And then as she was in there, I was like interpreting what I just saw, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
It's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then it's very interesting because at that moment I wasn't really thinking too much into it, but I was like, we did just go to the cemetery. But then it proved to be so crucial for the whole rest of the video
Yeah.
that like we were talking to someone who claimed to be a ghost girl, like a pioneer ghost girl, the whole rest of the time. And it was pretty much the only ghost that would talk to us.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Really, really, really weird.
Freaking weird. It was crazy. Oh, I remember that. I remember like seeing your face, just like you were just so confused and out of
I
it.
was so perplexed.
You were like, you. I'll tell you later. You just like put in the door. Like, "Oh, okay." I had my Twilight books that I bought
because
from
I
the
didn't
thrift store. I was like, okay.
because I wasn't sure of what I saw, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
like tell you right in that moment. So I was like, you go inside, and then as you were doing your thing, I was like interpreting what I just saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, did I really just see that? What just happened? And then you came back and I was like, I don't know what just happened. And then I told her.
Yeah.
And we did tell this story briefly, but I didn't think I
Yeah.
told it in this much detail.
No, yeah, we just briefly mentioned it. But like,
Yeah, we were like, oh yeah, this happened. No biggie.
yeah, oh, that ghost girl. I genuinely believed like she was just there. She was just there.
Yeah.
And we dropped her off.
She hung out with us. We babysat for a couple hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
And then, yeah, at the end of that video, we show us going back to the cemetery because we didn't film going there initially.
yeah. Because we didn't think
Because
of
we were mostly just scoping the place out because we were like, oh, maybe we'll do a video here in the future. So we weren't filming it at that time because we thought we would come back and do a video another time.
Yeah.
And then this happened. So now I think we need to go back and do a
We
video
need to.
there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See if we can talk to the same girl.
Hope so. She was
Maybe
cool,
she's
I
still
think.
with us. You never know. Maybe she didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced anything else, but
Me neither.
do you have any other stories before we sort of wrap
Uh,
up? It is almost like past an hour.
Oopsies. No. Well, I just want to build on to like what you were saying about the ghost girl. Like when we dropped her off, I'm using like finger quotations, guys. Dropped her off. We went back after everything, and then I dropped Tam off to her house. You were talking, and I was like kind of like pissing my pants just a little bit because it's dark. It's like a little chillier, but it wasn't cold because it was still July, but it was like cooler. It was maybe like 15 degrees, yeah. And I was just like looking around the cemetery, making sure like nothing would come and eat us alive. And we were just like, okay, goodbye. You are not allowed to follow us. Whatever. We said our goodbyes, and I think it was probably just a trick of like the flashlight, but I could have
Mm-hmm.
sworn I saw my breath when we said goodbye. Like I could have, which doesn't make sense because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's too warm. Like at first I was like, it's kind of coolish, but I did it again. I like actually held my breath and I was like warming it out. I was warming it up in my mouth. I was like swishing my breath around to like keep it, make it warm, and I released it. And I was like, it's I can't see my breath. This doesn't make sense. So I don't know if that's like paranormal, but it could have just been like the flashlight, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And this experience she's talking about is in our video, so if you
it
want to
is.
like judge for yourself, see if you can see the breath. Because I've tried watching it back, and I don't really see your breath, but there
No,
is a moment where the light like sort of goes in that direction. So like maybe that's it. So you can judge for yourself if you want to
yeah,
like check that out. And even if you don't want to watch the whole video, it's at the very end, so you can
at the
just
very
scroll through and like find it.
yeah,
But again, like if you're interested in these stories, like we did communicate with that girl, whether you want to
yeah,
believe it or not. Like she's pretty much the only thing that would like answer our questions
yeah. Everything else was like pissed off or just like didn't care.
or just wasn't there.
Just wasn't there too. That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool though.
But yeah, I guess I'm just gonna like wrap this up by saying like ever since then I've been trying to see if I can conjure it. I've been like looking up like clairvoyancy and like
Yeah,
trying to figure out if these are like powers or just I have an overactive imagination.
yeah,
Um, and I've been like doing this meditation thing that like I try to get to myself to conjure images, but the thing is like I'm doing them in my dorm room, which like I mean every single place in Canada like has history. Like people could have died here because like the Aboriginals lived here first, but like
yeah,
I don't think this dorm room, which is like the newest building on campus, would be haunted. So I don't
yeah,
think if I meditate here and I try to like see something, I don't think I'm going to see anything per se, but
yeah,
I will just say, and this could like I'm not claiming that this is like paranormal and I'm tapping into someone whose live used to be here. It could just be my brain thinking of something. But
yeah,
what this meditation has you do is it has you like really clear your head
yeah.
and just like think of nothing. And I
Uh huh.
really just try to focus on the words that it's saying. So it's not like I'm thinking of pictures and I'm thinking like, oh, like baseball, and I'm like picturing baseball because I'm thinking about baseball. It's like I'm not thinking about anything. My head is clear.
Yeah.
And in one of the sessions that I did, the vivid image of like brown braided hair with blue bows at the end of the
Yeah.
hair came into my mind, and then right after that was followed by like a wooden bassinet like for a baby, like one of those like
Oh.
oval shaped ones, and it like
Yeah.
rocks back and forth, which again I have absolutely no like context for this because I don't, it's not like I'm in a house and I'm like, oh my god, there was a girl who like had blue ribbons in her hair and there was a woman who had a baby with a bassinet. Like I
Yeah.
don't have, excuse me, context for any of this, so I'm not claiming that it like belongs to a ghost, but
Yeah.
it's weird.
Wow.
So essentially I'm trying to see if I can hone this ability because I think that would be
Really
cool
cool.
for like the ghost hunting sessions and stuff. And
Yeah.
I, like I said at the very start of this video, I do come from a witchy family of sorts, so who knows, maybe they're like one and the same.
Hopefully. Ooh.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
But I think you are making progress.
I
Sounds like
am.
it.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Whew. Maybe I should try that. I don't think anything would happen. I would just like fall asleep, but like that'd be kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I want to
That's
like
really
see.
cool.
I want to try doing the meditation somewhere I know could
Yeah.
potentially be haunted, or like do it with someone and try and tap into
Mm.
like a relative of theirs, because that would be more believable if I like pictured something in my head without knowing anything about their relative, and then I told them about it and they were like, "Yeah, that's something they did." Then I could maybe actually believe that this is a thing I have.
Like it's provable. Yeah.
But for now, it's just like random things. Like I don't know who it applies to, so it's not provable.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool though. Ah, I wish you luck. You got this.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah.
Anyways, this is one of
That's
our longest videos.
oops.
Well, we shouldn't apologize for it, but I
Yeah.
just know that a lot of people don't really want to watch videos that are this long. But
Yeah.
props to you if you made it this long. We appreciate that.
We really
We
do.
enjoy having these conversations that are more
Anyways,
like
yeah.
more natural, which can tend to mean that the video goes longer, especially if there's a lot to talk about like this.
Yeah.
But we like making these more than the ones that are planned, such as the the choose your own adventure. Like, we can still do those if you guys want us to, but we prefer the natural flow of this.
The hoof, yeah. Our natural charm really seeps through. Sort of. Yeah. We're so cool. Anyways. Yeah.
Anyways, whether you believed us or not, thanks for listening.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed our tales.
Yeah.
Hope you can sleep tonight.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, please. And comment. If you have experienced anything paranormal and you would like to share
let us know.
Yeah. Or if you have any,
we would love to hear.
Yeah, any deets about something we've said. Ooh.
Except if you're our friends, don't tell us, because we might need you in a future video.
Yeah. If
you're a stranger, tell us. If you're our friends, don't.
Keep it to yourself. Please.
Which might be the only people watching, but that's okay.
That's alright. Anyways. Hope you guys have a good day / night.
Well, you ready?
Yep.
Peace
out.